Evening, everyone. Evening time, and I do believe it's time for a drink. So I'd be honored if you join me. And yeah, it's nice to have some company. And I'd like it to be you. So, cheers to you. And Jesus too. Drinking the tea. The usual. That was good, actually. World's gone crazy, hasn't it? Or is it just me? Seems like everybody right now is just yelling and shouting and screaming, and it's crazy. And I don't see anybody, reflecting, talking, having a little bit of peace and tranquility, and just sitting back and really thinking things out. Like I said, reflecting. I don't see a lot of that, a lot of reflection, and it's just anger everywhere. And, well, I'd like to think that we could be better than that. And so, well, that's why I'm here, right? To quietly reflect on things. And drink. I think that's the most important thing. Anyway, what do you got? Well, whatever it is, I hope it's delicious. Yeah, or if it's not, if it's something you like, whatever. Sometimes I eat things I don't like, which is weird. Anyway, speaking of reflecting, while we're having our drinks, there's something I want to share with you. It's a poem, and let me get this out of here. It's a quick one. It's not that long, and it was written by a guy named Sergeant Joyce Kilmer, who was in the 165th Infantry, 69th New York, AEF. And I forgot what AEF stands for. EF, I'm assuming, is Expeditionary Force. But if you know, leave a comment below. Let me know, because I completely forgot. Anyway, Sergeant, he fought in World War I. So this is way back in the day. And for those of you who don't know, the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, I think he was Austrian, he got assassinated by a Serbian, and diplomacy failed, and next thing you know, the whole world is fighting. And terrible stuff, really terrible. And kind of the same thing, nobody decided to step back. Nobody decided to kind of wait and just discuss, think, and terrible things happened. And I just wish more people would do that, Anyway, so World War I, and you gotta put yourself in his shoes, It's a terrible war, sitting in the trenches, you'd sit there for days, weeks. At nighttime, there'd be artillery fire blowing over your head, exploding in your trenches. Sometimes they'd just shoot it off just so you didn't get any sleep. There was mud everywhere, bodies everywhere. And if you look out into no man's land, it was just blackened from the fires of millions of artillery explosions. It was hellish, to say the least. And so put yourself in this guy's shoes, and then when you get out of those godforsaken trenches, one of the first things you come on is a tree, and grass, and flowers, and you haven't seen these things for days, possibly even weeks. How would that make you feel, And you wrote about it, so... Anyway, the poem is called Trees, and... yeah, here we go. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day, and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Sergeant Joyce Kilmer was born December 6, 1886, and he was killed in action on July 30th, 1918. Didn't make it. I can only wonder how many beautiful poems he would have written had he lived. But he did live for a while, and he actually did quite a bit. I looked him up, and I'd like to share you a little bit of his life story. Pretty interesting, actually. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll link it below. I'm just going to give you the highlights. This is called Poet, Soldier, Knight by Amy Fahy. Fahy? Fahy? I don't know. Sorry. But yeah. It says, a century after he was killed in World War I, Joyce Kilmer remains an eloquent witness of faith, joy, and valor. A sniper's bullet took the life of Joyce Kilmer, the celebrated American Catholic poet and an active member of the Knights of Columbus, on a French battlefield, July 30th, 1918. The last time I saw him alive was on that morning, after he had crept forth alone into no man's land, wrote Sergeant Lemus Essler in an article in the New York Times, August 22nd, 1918. Essler, a playwright who served with Kilmer in the Fighting 69th Infantry Regiment, recounted how Kilmer had rushed ahead to lead a reconnaissance mission while the battalion advanced during the Battle of Orc? I can't read French, I'm sorry. I'm just butchering it today, I know. Let's see. The United States had lost in Kilmer a valiant soldier and its most prominent Catholic poet, as well as a faithful husband, father, friend, and knight. Born in 1886 in New Brunswick, New Jersey, Joyce Kilmer was the son of Frederick Barnett Kilmer, inventor of Johnson's baby powder, and Annie Kilburn Kilmer. Small world, Johnson's baby powder. Still around today. Kilmer attended Columbia University, where he became an editor for the college's journal, a member of the literary club, and vigorous debater. Upon graduating in 1907, he married his sweetheart, Aline Murray, and within a decade they would have 5 children. Let's see. With the publication of his poem Trees in 1913, followed by his first volume of poetry, Kilmer's reputation as a budding American poet was secured. His poems celebrate the ordinary, from a corner deli to a ride on a train to the beauty of an abandoned house. He had little time for the intentionally difficult and often impious poets of his day. Instead, he trained his poetical eye on the simple, everyday gifts of his beloved Main Street, later published in 1917. The United States entered World War I in April 1917, and within a few weeks, 30-year-old Kilmer enlisted in the New York National Guard. He soon transferred to the Irish Fighting 69th Battalion of New York, which had recently been redesignated the 165th Infantry Regiment. Just days before his deployment that fall, his little Rose died, and his final child, Christopher, was born. His daughter's death, wrote Kilmer, was a piercing blow, but beautiful. Certainly Rose makes heaven dearer to us. Kilmer was immensely proud to be part of the Fighting 69th. Among others, he quickly befriended the regiment's chaplain, Father Francis Duffy, who was to become the most decorated military chaplain in history. Father Duffy wrote of Kilmer, "He was absolutely the coolest and most indifferent man in the face of danger I have ever seen. It was not for lack of love of life, for he enjoyed his life as a soldier. His only cross was distance from home. It was partly from his inborn courage and devotion. He would not stint his sacrifice, partly his deep and real belief that what God wills is best. It was Father Duffy who read Kilmer's own war poem, Rouge Bouquet? Yeah, over his grave, while the poet's fellow soldiers, who loved him dearly, wept. The French government posthumously awarded Kilmer the Croix de Guerre. I'm butchering French, I know. I feel bad, I really do. Awarded him, I think that means War Cross, for his bravery, and Kilmer's crucifix, which he was carrying upon his death, has since been handed down to every battalion commander of the 69th Infantry Regiment. In 1936, the veterans of foreign wars helped establish the Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest, a 3,800-acre tract of old-growth forest in North Carolina, a fitting tribute to the one who wrote, "Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree." Camp Kilmer, a U.S. Army camp in New Jersey, was established in 1942 and processed over 2.5 million soldiers heading overseas or returning from World War II. But Sergeant Joyce Kilmer's most enduring legacy remains his poetic witness to Christ in a sinful and war-torn world. 1 month before his death, he wrote of his hope that poetry would reflect the virtues which are blossoming on the blood-soaked soil of this land: courage, self-abnegation, and love, and faith. This last, not faith in some abstract goodness, but faith in God and His Son and the Holy Ghost, and in the church which God Himself founded and still rules. You don't see many men like that these days. And it's sad. But I think with enough love and courage and compassion, I think men like that will return someday. Men like Joyce Kilmer, who I think serves as an example to all of us. The man had courage and sacrifice, and he lost his daughter. You know, that's hard. It just goes to show you everybody's going through something, right? Everybody. We all suffer in some ways or another. I know many of you are struggling right now, and I feel for you, and I pray for you. I really do. Everybody's got something, but the important thing is that you keep going, that you have the fortitude. And sometimes things don't work out, as is evidenced by Sergeant Kilmer. He didn't make it, but he was willing, and in his heart he was doing the right thing, and he went forward with tenacity and bravery, and well, he's won my respect anyway, and I hope he's won yours. I think he's a good example for young men today. So, yeah. That's all. I will dismount the soapbox now. And have more of this delicious tea for a second. Yeah, it's the little things, you know. It's quiet. Like I said in the start of this video, it's just all this shouting, and it seems like everywhere we go, everybody's just so angry. There's no peace. There's no joy. And I'm not saying things are perfect and they can always be better, and we should make them better. We should make improvements. We can always improve. But all this screaming is not helping. Not helping. But that's alright. I'm sure everything will calm down in a bit. And if it doesn't, I'll be calm. And I'll do my best to restore that calm. And I'm going to start it right here, in this very room. Just bring some peace into a world, and hopefully into your life as well. I think that's what we all want, is just a little peace, right? Anyway, with that, I hope you all have a good evening. I hope you all find what you're looking for, or accomplish the things you're trying to accomplish. And I wish the best for you. I really do. I hope everything works out for you. And I know it's probably not going to be easy. It never is. But just know that my heart is with you. And my prayers and my thoughts are with you. And I want to encourage you to just keep going. You know? Yeah. Good night, everyone. Take care. One for the road. Yeah. Good night.